good morning. I did not know there were this number of people willing to get up this early in the morning to do something like this. I had to get up in the dark in in Redlands to get here. Okay, now, notice where the arrow on this chart is. It is between anxiety and denial, closer to anxiety. That is why I title this speech, "The State of the Inland Empire, the Adventure Continues." Because if you follow economic data at all, you know we're in the middle of an adventure. We're not sure what's going to happen 2020, 2021. Now, to take a look at that, the starting place is to look at the Inland Empire and its total population. It is larger than 25 states. Now, there are only 50, so half of the U.S. states have less people than San Bernardino and Riverside counties combined. We're just behind Louisiana. We will be passing them shortly. When we look at populations, wait a minute, why did that go away? All right, never mind. What did I do? Just a minute. Let me see if I can. Well, we'll skip that. Sorry about that. I had a nice little thing that showed the population of each one of you. The short answer is the largest city in Southwest County is now Murrieta. Of course, Temecula is draining all your retail sales taxes, but you are bigger. Sorry, City Council, but it's not like you don't know that. Now, what's the forecast for the two county region? We're expected to add between 2018 and 2045 1.5 million more people. You think you have trouble getting around now? Fast forward to, I'll be 104, so I don't care. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to get even tougher than it is now. Notice who's behind us in growth. LA County is going to add about half that number. And then when you look at the combination of San Diego plus Orange plus Ventura plus Imperial, we're going to add 400,000 more people than that whole group. So where are things going to happen? Out here, and increasingly down here off the 215 as a consequence of the fact that there is still land down here. I just noticed it when I came down. Is it Briggs I drove down? Yeah, down Briggs. We're going through and my wife and I are saying, oh, there's still farm company. All of a sudden we cross a boundary and here's nothing but houses. So you see it coming. That'll take us up to 6.1 million total people in the area. Now, our issues are very interesting. When you look at the overall population of the two counties, 46.3% of adults are high school or less. Now that shapes, to a large extent, what kind of an economy we can have. Because if that's what you've got, it's going to be tough to lure certain types of companies to the area. The year before, these are 2018 data, 2017, it was actually slightly a smaller percentage. So it sort of moved in the wrong direction. Now, if we look here in Southwest County, much better. Murrieta, 35.5%. 44.5% in Wildomar, 28.5% in Temecula, 44.8% in Lake Elsinore, and 43.1% in Menifee. All 5 cities are better off than the regional average. And of course, Murrieta and Temecula in particular are much, much better off in terms of the education. And a lot of this has to do with who moved here. A lot of it came out of San Diego. They bring their educations with them, and that's one of the consequences. If we then look at AA and above, then the Associate of Arts degree is crucial because so much of the way the economy is growing is people who need technical skills, not necessarily only bachelor skills. Here in the region, it's 30.2% of adults, substantially less than LA, below the state of California, and way below the south coastal counties, which, not including LA, would be Orange and San Diego, Ventura, and Santa Barbara. Look at the Bay Area, 51.3%. Part of the problem we face in Southern California is a lot of our economic policies are set by people who have grown up and lived in the Bay Area. I know because I'm a refugee from there. And the fact of the matter is, they tend to control thinking in Sacramento. And Sacramento thinks the Bay Area is normal. It is not normal. It is weirdly high educated. It was 29.8 in 2017, so it's improved. Looking here in this area, Wildomar, 41% of the population, so you're up in the neighborhood of the state. I'm sorry, that was Murrieta. Wildomar, 25%, Temecula, 43.5%, Lake Elsinore, 27.7%, Menifee, 26.1%. So again, in particular, Temecula and Murrieta are really acting a lot like coastal counties in terms of their educational profile. And the fact that you have companies like Abbott in this area, it's not a surprise because of that educational profile. When we look at the region as a whole, what we find is that we have been growing rapidly as a region. The most recent number this year is running around 38,000. If you look at what happened with the recession, we lost 140,000 jobs. We've gained back 390,000. So we're roughly 250,000 jobs above where we were back in '07. So we've done spectacularly. That's 19.1% higher. Now, if we look at 2018 for the whole year on average, the most jobs created in the state of a metro area was in LA, which you expect because it's a huge economy, 60,908. Second, and only about 1,100 jobs behind that, is the Inland Empire. Then you have San Francisco, San Mateo, way behind the Inland Empire. So if you look at that and you go, San Francisco, San Mateo area, that's where Stanford is and all the rest, they think they are the center of the universe. They are not. We are. Now go below that. San Diego, 32.5. Orange, 32.1. Then there's Silicon Valley. They probably are the center of the universe, at least technology, but they aren't creating a lot of jobs, less than half what was created down in our two-county area. When we look at incomes in the region, this chart, if you look all the way across, Temecula, the median income in Temecula, 96,402, followed closely by Murrieta, 88,717. Both of those are higher than Orange or Ventura counties. Menifee is a little below Ventura, but above San Diego. Then Lake Elsinore and Wildomar, both of which are above the Inland Empire, and the Inland Empire is above LA. Now, I will tell you this chart is not the actual numbers. What I did was I took the coastal counties and I subtracted out the difference between the cost of housing here and the cost of housing there. So this is about looking at ability to spend after you've paid your mortgages and all your other housing costs, which is, I think, a fair way to look at this. So LA actually comes out below the Inland Empire when you make that adjustment. Now, poverty is a major issue. If you look in the Inland Empire for children, 19.1% of children under 18 are living in poverty. If you go back 2 years, it was 23.5, dropped to 19.3, dropped to 19.1. As the economy has expanded, you would anticipate poverty going down, and it did. When we look at children's poverty here in Southwest County, Murrieta is best, only 6%. Menifee 6.9, Temecula 10.1, Wildomar 15.7, and Lake Elsinore 20.3. If we look at all people, 13.7%. It was 16.4 2 years in 16, and 17 it was 14.5. It's now down to 13.7. It is improving. Here in Southwest County, the place with the least poverty for all people, Murrieta, 5.8. Menifee, 6.8. Temecula, 7.7. Lake Elsinore, 12.2. Wildomar, 12.7. Now, this is unfair to Wildomar because Wildomar's data for 2018 isn't available until sometime in December. So it's 1 year older than that, so the figure will be lower. Now, ethnicity. What's the makeup of Southwest Riverside County versus the Inland Empire? Hispanics, 39.3 versus 53. White non-Hispanics, 48.1 versus 32.2. So you're seeing a picture closer to San Diego County than it is to the balance of the Inland Empire. And then the others are fairly small, slightly higher Asian and Pacific or almost identical Asian and Pacific and African American. In Murrieta, 34.1 Hispanic, so it's less than the region. White is 48.2. It is right on the region. Now, a little bit about economic theory. There's a test at the end of this. You have to pay double for your breakfast if you didn't get this right. Stop and think of a gold mine in the Old West. What happened? People dig up gold. You can't do anything with it, so you ship it away, and it brings money to a place with no economy. Now, what do miners need? Well, they need food and tools. Somebody like Levi Strauss comes up and invents jeans and comes out and sells them. So you need food and tools, but the money going to the general store is the same money. It's just turning over again. What else do miners need? Well, they need entertainment. So you have the saloon. Again, the saloon isn't driving the economy, the miners are. Miners have other needs, we'll skip that part. My wife absolutely hates that slide. But like was said in the introduction, I used to run a casino in Nevada out in the cow counties. You can imagine, I'm a former college professor running a casino, and part of my marketing strategy is with the town madam. That was bizarre. Now, what are the gold mines in this area? Well, first of all, it's logistics and distribution. It is a major driver. Second is construction. You have a little bit of that going on down in this region. Third is healthcare. A lot of that going on, good strong sector. Fourth is manufacturing. You have a good deal of high-end manufacturing down in this area. And then finally, high tech. Again, this is an area that has that where the rest of the region pretty much does not. They bring the money. Then where's the money go? It goes into consumer services on the left, and then on the right it goes into retail and things like that. Now, let's look at those sectors that draw the money. Healthcare, median pay, $65,757. What's driving this sector? To a large extent, the Affordable Care Act. Back in 2012, 20.5% of the population in this region had no health care. 877,000 some odd people, almost 878. It dropped as low as 7.8 and 351,000. It is kicked back up to 382 and 8.4%. Now, this does two things. One, it increases the standard of living because people have access to health care, which is a key part of their standard of living. But the other thing it does, as these tables over here will certify, and one over there, Healthcare demand for workers in order to fill the demand from people needing healthcare has gone up. And those are good paying jobs. So it's a major part of the upscale part of our region's economy. What are the shares by city? Temecula 5.1 without healthcare. Murrieta down to 5.4. Elsinore 7.4. Menifee at 8.3. Wildomar at 10.5, but again lagged 1 year. So what are we looking at in healthcare services? 5,700 more jobs probably added in the whole region this year. Now, some of you go to high-end restaurants. On the table you will find pink salt that'll say Himalayan salt or salt from Tibet. Now, so what? Well, one of the things I do is I go on adventures. And one of the adventures was to cross the Himalayas from Nepal over the top of the Himalayas into Tibet. Going around a corner, going up a steep grade, this was coming at me. Now, what is it? They're goats. And every goat has saddlebags. And in every saddlebag, there is a square of ancient salt cut out of a dry lake up in Tibet. This is called logistics. It is bringing salt from Tibet to be on your tables in Temecula, Murrieta, Wildomar. This sector has a median pay of $49,106. That's the full spectrum at a medium, not pulled high by a few extremes. The beginning salaries in this sector have moved up to roughly $15. Why? Because of one company, Amazon. Amazon decided to pay all their employees, including their part-time, $15 an hour. So what did the other companies have to do? Go up to $15 an hour because Amazon sucks everybody else's employees if they don't meet that threshold. So it's raised the standard of living at the bottom end of the logistics sector as well. This is what drives it. 0.6% of all sales retail back in 2001 were online. It's now 10.7. Let me ask in this audience, who in here hasn't bought something online this year? Raise your hand. Anybody? Nobody. It used to be one old guy like me, who I said therefore lost his American citizenship. But this is what we do. Now, what's this red line? This red line, and you see it's almost straight, starting in 2011, is the pace at which this is growing. And that line is right at 15%. It wiggles a little bit. The most recent year, it was up 13.3%. How would you like your 401k to be an automatic pilot, growing at 13 to 15% without even thinking about it? That's what's going on. Where's it headed? Probably as high as 20. Why? Because a lot of us are old and going to die, and all the millennials in the room, if you follow them around in a store, they'll look at what they want, they'll look online and figure out how to get it cheaper. That's going to drive it faster and faster. Now, the other thing that drives this sector is imports through the ports of LA and Long Beach. 9 million TEUs was the peak last year. This year, it was at 8.8 in August. It's now down to 8.6. It is shrinking. Why is it shrinking? Because of tariff man. The tariffs that the president has put on imports have dramatically slowed at the end of 2019, the volumes coming in, which directly affects employment in the Inland Empire. This is what happens with those big buildings. You haven't got a lot of them down in this area. Most recent 4 quarters ended in June, 22.6 million square feet of space net absorbed. That's 1 million square foot buildings taken off the market with employers moving here and bringing jobs. Construction, where is it going on? We absorbed 22 million. We're in the process, as of June, building 28 million. That is 74% of all the construction going on in Southern California. Who's second? Honestly, who cares? It's LA County, but they're just small. Job growth here, about 11,400 jobs. A powerful sector that has added, since the recession, 90,000 jobs into the two-county economy. Another thing helping drive all this is what's going on at my favorite airport, LA Ontario Airport, which used to be owned by the city of Los Angeles, used to be driven or controlled by LAWA, an agency of the city of Los Angeles. Since we got it back, one of the things that's happened to air cargo tonnage, last year went up 12.4%. This year it's up another 3.4%. It's at record levels. It is incredibly strong, and that's almost all e-commerce, because that's the headquarters for UPS. But what isn't on the chart is what's on the way. What's on the way is coming out of LAX is FedEx is moving their distribution centers onto Ontario, and so is FedEx. In fact, all three of those companies are now landing at March Air Reserve Base and landing at San Bernardino International because they've got so much demand that they need to get out here for. The other thing happening there is passenger traffic, up 12.4 last year. This year so far up another 7.1, but it's only back to the 1989 level. In that time, we've doubled the population, more than doubled the number of jobs, and almost tripled the number of companies in this region. Yet despite that, LAWA couldn't seem to figure out policies to allow Ontario to expand. In fact, what they wanted to do was force all of us to drive to LAX. You ever driven to LAX to get a flight? It's suicidal. So when I was giving a speech like this, and I did not know that over in the corner was a reporter for the LA Times, and I said in the middle of the fight over getting control of Ontario that the LAWA board ought to burn in hell. That got itself into the LA Times. I have done no work in LA since. My big mouth. Now, manufacturing, what's it pay? 54,000 median, half above, half below. This is the Purchasing Managers Index for the Inland Empire. And if you look here, you can see it's working its way down. Now, who cares about purchasing managers? Well, economics is a bit like being a detective. I always think of myself as Humphrey Bogart. You know, running a casino, Casablanca, all of that. One of the things that we talk to the purchasing managers for is they're the ones told about where's the company going, what supplies to either buy or not buy. So they know first what's going on. Notice it's working its way down. The national figures are worse. We are actually already in a manufacturing recession nationally. The other problem we find here, if you look at Colorado, 713, down to Washington, 444, that is the cost of electrical energy in the other western states. There is California. Now, I have a friend that owns a propeller company in South Carolina. He used to be in Oakland. They have a lot of propellers. It's very high-end for people with sport runabouts and all the rest. And he said, oh, maybe I should move back to California because I have so many clients there. Well, if he stops off in Phoenix, they will tell him that the cost of electrics in California is 98% higher than it is in Phoenix in Arizona. If he stops off in Nevada, it's 140% higher. Guess what? He ain't coming to California. And therein lies the problem for manufacturing. This state, because of its regulatory policies, to a large extent has killed off the growth of manufacturing, except in high-tech firms that can make up for the differences. Job growth in this field, manufacturing, very slow, only about 1,500 this year. Then there is construction, median income 52. Now, here, home prices are a critical measure. New homes peaked at 437 before the recession. They're now at 448. They are 2.7% higher. If we look at the red dots, which is existing homes, peaked at 389, they're back to 364. They're 7.6% below the peak. What about here in Southwest County? Well, what do we see? The Inland Empire, you see the numbers I just cited. Temecula, 494 was the peak. It's back to 494, right at the peak. Murrieta is up to 499, higher than Temecula and above its previous peak. Elsinore, 413 versus 378, above its peak. Menifee, 357 versus 351. Wildomar, only 490 versus 316. The fact of the matter is that we're seeing new and existing homes go above the peaks. That's existing. What about new? Well, Temecula is 674, above 620. Inland Empire, way below that. Murrieta, 570 versus 446. Menifee, 351 versus 423. Elsinore, 486 versus 417. I love Wildomar. 746.5 versus 344. The new home market is much more expensive than it was before the recession. Now, the price competition. Why do companies move to the Inland Empire? The answer is because, or not companies, people, and then companies will tend to follow. In San Bernardino County, 330 is the is the median income. The median house price for both. Riverside, it's 401 now. What you save compared to LA, Orange, and San Diego is 270 to San Diego, 216 to LA. 287 compared to LA. 462, that's compared to San Bernardino. Compared to Riverside, you save almost exactly 200 compared to San Diego, 216 to LA, 391 to Orange. This is why people have flocked up out the 215 from San Diego, out the 91 into Riverside County. One of the things going on is people that are middle class and poor can no longer live in the coastal counties. They have to migrate income. Into this area, inland, thank you. That was called a senior moment. All home sales, what do you see? A flat line. There has not been any great increase in all home sales. Existing home volumes, 2026 was the change from 2017 to 2018 so far, down 7.3. Temecula, 1928, down 9.4. 1788 in Menifee, down 11.4. 1111 in Wildomar, down 6.2. And in Elsinore, 1053, down 15.2, compared to the same period of 2017. Oops, sorry, got lots of arrows. Now, new home sales, again, 2017 versus 2018. Menifee was up 53.3%. Elsinore down 2.5, so basically flat. Murrieta off 18.7. Temecula off 34.4. Wildomar off 28.1. So some slowing going there except in Menifee. Construction job growth, for some reason this year, is not keeping up. It was going pretty strong, but so far the data has come in at 1,200. Now I will tell you these data come from EDD, California Employment Development Division. They are in fact suspect. I don't believe them. That's part of my job. Finally and lastly, we have these 4 population-serving, lower-paying areas. Now, why do I have them on here? Well, first of all, Sears. What's happening to Sears? It is shrinking dramatically. Why? E-commerce. And that, of course, is hurting the cities because e-commerce grows and the cities get less and less as a consequence of retail sales taxes. Nordstrom's, why do I have that? The high end are doing very well. Actually, that's a lie. It is doing well. The reason it's on here is my wife has a personal shopper at Nordstrom's. That's why at 78 I'm still working. In-N-Out Burger, why do I have that there? Because it's the 3rd strongest sector we've got. What about Mexico Cafe? I'm going to get out of here and head for there and have a margarita. This sector pay only $34,000. You can see here that taxable sales in Riverside County have been going up. They're up 30.5% from the peak in 06. Inflation's 26.4, so the purchasing is higher. In Lake Elsinore, they're up 55.5 versus 19.2 since their peak in 2018. In Menifee, they're up 115.6% versus the inflation, so they're better off. Murrieta, up 80% versus 19.2. The city's better off. Temecula, up 50.9 versus 19.2, better off. Wildomar, up 130.3 versus 19.2, better off. All of the cities in Southwest County, because of the shifts in population and spending, have in fact benefited in the retail sales world, with the biggest benefit coming in Wildomar and in Murrieta. Excuse me. Assessed valuation. You've seen growth of 42.5 in Temecula, 43.5 in Murrieta, 78.7 in Menifee, 68.7 in Lake Elsinore, 15.9 in Wildomar, all versus 45.5 in the county. So Menifee, Lake Elsinore, Wildomar, fast in the county, Temecula and Murrieta, just a little bit slower. Now when we, whoops, I went the wrong way here. Population, did I go the wrong, I'm punching the wrong button, sorry. Trying to go too fast here. All right. Finally and lastly, how many jobs creating this year? If we add up everything that I've showed you in each of the sectors, we're going to add all together about 38,000. That's growth at 2.53%. It will keep us in first place in percentage job growth in the region and second place to LA County overall. Now, this is going to go online probably by the end of the week. I sent it last night to my guy that runs my site, so you can download this if these data would be useful to you and put them to work. And I thank you very much for this opportunity.